Have you ever wondered if the biggest obstacle between you and success is hidden right within yourself? Imagine for a moment that every doubt, every negative thought, and every hesitation is, in fact, an invisible barrier that impedes your personal development and blocks you from achieving that life of fulfillment and leadership that you so desire. Today, we're going to dive deep into this reflection, making it clear that Napoleon Hill's wisdom can be the game changer that transforms your mindset and boosts your self-improvement. From the first moments of our journey, it is impressive to notice how, without realizing it, many people become their own enemies, sabotaging achievement in a subtle and silent way. Do you feel that even though you apply personal development techniques and proven strategies to achieve success, something seems to be missing? Maybe it's the fact that, day after day, our own unconscious thoughts and attitudes undermine our ability to evolve. This realization can be a turning point, an invitation to look within and discover the unlimited potential that resides within you. Many successful leaders and growth mindset experts argue that self-sabotage is an insidious phenomenon, rooted in limiting beliefs and mental habits that, if not identified and transformed, impede personal innovation. Have you ever found yourself putting off projects or ignoring opportunities out of pure fear of failure? This internal resistance may be exactly what is preventing you from becoming the high performer, the one who makes strong decisions and inspires others with your leadership. This is not just self-help or temporary motivation, but a profound transformation based on practical strategies that have been proven to lead to success. The truth is that we often don't realize when we are stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage, where every small mistake or hesitation is a reflection of a mindset that needs to be reprogrammed. This awareness, combined with the constant practice of self-improvement, is essential to developing a true growth mindset. Think about the difference between those who simply dream of success and those who actually apply specific techniques to reconfigure their way of thinking and acting. Napoleon Hill teaches us that the path to success is closely linked to mastering our thought. When you gain control over your internal reactions and transformations, your ability to lead and achieve goals becomes exponential. On this journey of self-discovery, you will discover how to identify and break down the mental barriers that keep you stuck in a cycle of self-limitation. Every negative thought, every harsh self-criticism are signs that something needs to change. It is not uncommon when we focus on personal development strategies, we fail to address these fundamental aspects that undermine our progress. It's time to embrace a new perspective, to see that the habits and beliefs you have cultivated over the years can be redefined into powerful tools for your transformation. When listening to this video, imagine that you are talking directly to someone who deeply understands the pains and challenges of those seeking personal growth. Each word was designed to awaken in you the urgency to act and transform your way of thinking. True success is not the result of chance. It is the result of conscious and consistent action, aligned with a strong and disciplined mindset. If you are determined to move forward, to lead your own life with mastery, and to overcome limitations that seemed insurmountable, then this is the time to pay attention to each tip and teaching that will follow. Now, as you prepare to explore the next essential concepts, know that this is just the beginning of a transformative journey. Stay tuned, as below, we will unveil practical techniques that will allow you to not only recognize but correct these self-sabotaging patterns, paving the way for a truly unshakable mindset. Now that you are immersed in this transformation process, I want you to know you are not alone. Here, we are building a real community of people committed to personal development, who deeply believe in the power of daily motivation, a growth mindset, and the practical application of strategies to achieve success. Every comment that appears here on the videos shows that we are on the right path, a path of constant evolution. If anything I've said so far makes sense to you, I want to invite you to leave a note in the comment. Share with me and the community a word or short phrase that represents what you seek or believe. It could be something like, "Nothing shakes me. Action overcomes fear." Use your intuition. Choose the phrase that most resonates with what you are experiencing right now. Write in the comment, because I'm keeping an eye on them all, and I promise to leave a little heart for those who stop by here. This type of interaction makes all the difference, not only in affirming your commitment to yourself, but also in inspiring others who are on this journey. Sometimes, a simple sentence written by someone like you can be the trigger that someone else needed to take the first step. And if this content touched you in any way, enjoy the video right now. This simple gesture shows YouTube that this type of message matters. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed, take the opportunity to join the channel. Here, each new video is a real opportunity for you to strengthen yourself, evolve and transform your mindset towards the freedom and prosperity you deserve. Let's continue. Have you ever felt like you're trying hard, doing everything you can, but it seems like the results you want just aren't coming? As if there is an invisible force, something that pulls you back every time you try to move forward? What if I told you that this strength is within you, that the biggest saboteur of your success is silent, almost imperceptible, and lives in your own mind? And the scariest thing, you might not even realize you're feeding it every day. It's difficult to accept, but in many cases, sabotage does not come from the outside world. It starts with a subtle thought, a doubt, a procrastination disguised as perfectionism, a comparison with someone who seems to be further ahead. And so, you postpone an idea that could generate result. You give up on a goal because you think you're not ready. You stop halfway because you feel like you don't deserve to get there. Yet, this, as harsh as it may seem, is self-sabotage, and it can be infiltrated in small attitudes in your daily life, preventing you from reaching your full potential. Napoleon Hill already warned about this. He spoke of the importance of mastering one's thoughts, cultivating a successful mindset, and eliminating negative influence from the mind. According to him, success begins in the mind. And if your mind is dominated by doubts, fears, limiting beliefs, or insecurities disguised as caution, your progress becomes a daily battle. How many times have you known what needed to be done, but hesitated? How many times have you wanted to start something new, but made up an excuse to put it off? This hesitation, this pause, is the mechanism of self-sabotage acting with force. The curious thing is that many of these attitudes seem, at first glance, rational. You say you're waiting for the right moment, or that you need to plan better, or that you're not ready yet. But the right moment rarely arrives, and you find yourself stuck in a cycle of endless preparation that never turns into action. Napoleon Hill said that successful men are those who act, even when they don't have all the answers, because movement generates clarity. Action conquers fear. Action generates trust. And right now, you might be asking yourself, how do I change this? How do I stop sabotaging myself without realizing it? The first step is self-knowledge. It's starting to realize when you are rationalizing fear and blocking your own path. It's understanding that thoughts like, "It's not for me," "This is too difficult," "I don't have time," are just masks that the mind creates to avoid the discomfort of growth. The second step is to act, even in fear, even with doubt, even without a guarantee of success. Every time you feel afraid of failing, there is a hidden opportunity for growth. It is there, at the exact point where you feel vulnerable, that your chance to become stronger arises. It's no coincidence that people who have achieved true success are also those who have faced the greatest internal challenge, because external success is a reflection of a transformation that begins within. You have a purpose, and you feel it. Even though the results haven't come yet, something inside you tells you that there is more, that you were born to impact, to lead, to build something great. And this feeling is not for nothing. This is the essence of you trying to break through the walls of doubt and procrastination. But for this to happen, you need to do something that few people are willing to do. Look inside, honestly, admitting that you are, yes, sabotaging yourself, and commit to changing that from now on. Reflect for a moment. What have you stopped doing out of fear? What goal have you been putting off because you don't feel prepared? What's stopping you from starting today, even if it's small? The key to transformation is not in big leaps, but in the small, consistent steps you choose to take even when everything inside you tells you to wait a little longer. And most powerfully, when you act despite fear, something changes. You reprogram your mind. You create a new identity. This identity is built based on action, courage, and especially decision. The decision to no longer be a hostage to self-sabotage. The decision to take charge of your life. Napoleon Hill said that all success begins with a clear and definitive decision. So if you're listening to me now, this is your decision time. The decision to no longer accept excuses, not to hide behind perfectionism, not to wait for anyone's permission. And here's an invitation for you who got here and felt that this message was written especially for you. Share with me in the comment a word that represents your decision, something you want to make now, like a public commitment to yourself. It could be action now, I decide to win, no more excuses, or even I am my greatest ally. I want to see you in the I comment because I follow every word you write in truth. And yes, I will leave my little heart there as a sign that I am with you on this journey. This is not just a video, it's a turning point. It's you taking the first step towards building an unshakable mindset focused on growth, leadership, and achievement. And if this message made sense, enjoy this video now. This is a powerful way to reinforce to yourself that you are committed to your evolution, and take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. Each content I bring here is designed to keep you moving, provoke you, inspire you, and help you apply real strategies to achieve everything you want. Because here, you have a voice, you have space, and you have support to transform yourself. And we still have a lot to talk about. Have you ever noticed how every time a brilliant idea pops into your head, almost immediately that subtle voice appears telling you that maybe it's not a good idea? Maybe you've experienced this more than once. That moment when something inside you lights up, inspiration strikes strongly, feel like you found something great. But seconds later, a shadow of doubt sets in, and so the initial impulse dissolves, giving way to thoughts like, this isn't going to work. I don't think this is the time. Or worse, who am I to try this? This sequence is more common than it seems. And the most dangerous? It is so automatic, so disguised as logic and prudent, that you don't even realize it is a deep-rooted pattern of self-sabotage. You often think you are being rational, that you are just thinking carefully before acting. But in reality, you are repeating a pattern that prevents you from evolving. It's a silent, sneaky mental mechanism that acts as a filter between your ambition and your actions. And this filter, little by little, convinces you that the comfort of doubt is safer than the discomfort of action. It turns out that growth, success, transformation, all these elements that you seek so much in personal development require exactly the opposite of movement, calculated risk, courage to do what has not yet been done. Have you ever told yourself that you would start a project next Monday? Have you ever excitedly set goals on a Sunday night, but when you woke up on Monday, something appeared? An unexpected appointment? A problem at work? A change in mood? Again, it seems like a coincidence, but it's not. There is a powerful psychological mechanism at work there. Your brain, programmed to protect you from the unknown, creates distractions and resistance whenever you try to leave your comfort zone. This is biology, but it's also mentality. And this is where you begin to realize how self-sabotage is not just a behavior, but a mental program that can and need to be rewritten. Napoleon Hill already warned that the human mind is like a fertile field. Everything you plant grows. If you plant fear, limitation grows. If you plant doubt, inertia grows. If you plant action, discipline, purpose, what grows is the result. But to change this plantation, you need to start observing what you are watering on a daily basis. And that requires attention, because the silent mistake you make every day isn't simply putting off tasks or leaving projects half done. The real mistake is believing that this is part of who you are, that you are an indecisive person, or disorganized, or that you work better under pressure. No, this is an identity built on habit that keep you far from your maximum potential. Every time you choose what's easiest, what's most comfortable, what gives you momentary relief instead of long-term growth, you're reinforcing that identity, and it becomes so present, so real, that you start to live as if it were true. And here's the key point. You can change this, not with magic, but with decision, with constancy, with conscience. Because when you understand the mechanism, you start to have power over it. And when you have power, you start to make different choices. Now, imagine what your routine would be like if you recognized this cycle of self-sabotage as it happens. If you could look at that mental excuse that comes up and say, I know what you are. and I'm not going to let you decide for me anymore. This is what starts to change everything. Because when you act with intention, when you choose consciously, you begin to take control of your story. And this decision, even if small at first, accumulate until it creates a new reality. You are not trapped. You are just repeating a pattern. And patterns can be broken. Every day you have the opportunity to do something different. It could be getting up 10 minutes earlier. It could be saying no to something that takes you away from your goal. It can be taking a step, even if timid, towards what you believe. It is in these small movements that you begin to rewrite your identity. No longer someone who sabotages themselves, but someone who leads themselves, that builds, that advances, that inspires. It's important to remember that you are not alone in this. Many people live exactly this same cycle, but here, on this channel, in this content, we are creating something different. A space where self-improvement is not empty theory, but practice. Where motivation is not momentary, but becomes a mindset. Where success is not a distant dream, but a daily construction based on discipline, action, and a growth mindset. And that's why you're here now. Because you feel like it's time to do something different, to be different, to become someone who inspires, lead, achieve. And if this content is speaking directly to you, if you feel deep down that this all describes what happens to you without you even realizing, I want to invite you to leave a note of that in the comment. It doesn't need to be anything elaborate. It could be a phrase that represents you at that moment. Something like, no more repeating patterns, I decide to act. Consistency is my new identity. Or even, today, I choose myself. I read each comment one by one and leave my heart there. Because for me, this is not just content. It's a conversation. It's a journey we're building together, one step at a time. And if you haven't already, enjoy this video now. It's a simple gesture, but it strengthens this message. And if you're not already part of the channel, sign up now. Not just to receive new video, but to affirm your commitment to your transformation. Because here, each content is made for you, to remind you every day that you no longer need to live in repetition. You can choose something new. You can choose success. And that starts now. We still have a lot to talk about, and you'll want to be here for the next part. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe your mind has been programmed since childhood to keep you exactly where you are now? And not because you are weak or incapable or because you lack intelligence, but because from a very early age, you were exposed to ideas, behaviors, and patterns that created within you a mental structure that became an invisible prison. Napoleon Hill, in his studies on success, calls this the invisible enemy. And he is not outside of it. It lives in your thoughts, in your fears, in your beliefs that have come to be treated as absolute truth. This invisible enemy is formed by past experience, by words you heard when you were still a child, by criticisms that seemed harmless but turned into subconscious command. You may have been taught that making mistakes is shameful, that dreaming big is dangerous, that money is difficult, that success is for few, that standing out is risky. And the cruelest thing of all, perhaps they made you believe, deep down, that you are not worthy of achieving great things. And when this belief sets in, without even realizing, you begin to sabotage every attempt to grow, to break limits, to achieve the extraordinary. The fear of failure is easy to understand. It's that constant fear of not working out, of trying something new and breaking your face, of being judged for your mistake. But there is an even more paralyzing fear, and much more common than you might think. The fear of winning. Yes, fear of success. It seems strange to say this, but think about it with me. How many times have you imagined yourself having everything you ever wanted, but along with that image came restlessness, anxiety, discomfort? This happens because deep down, you have been conditioned to believe that if you climb too high, you will lose something. You will stay away from people. You will be criticized. It will attract envy. It will become someone you don't recognize. This fear is sneaky, silent, and often confused with prudent or realism. Napoleon Hill makes it clear the mind is moldable, and it will be shaped by what you constantly feed. If you grow up in an environment where success is associated with arrogance, loneliness, or betrayal of values, your mind will understand that winning is dangerous. Even if you want to improve your life, achieve financial freedom, live with more purpose and autonomy, something inside you will pull the brake. Because deep down, you still don't feel safe with this idea of success. And this is what sabotages your actions. It doesn't matter how much you study, plan, or desire. If your mental programming is misaligned with what you want, you will boycott yourself whenever you are close to moving forward. That's why often, when you're about to achieve something important, a problem appeared, a distraction appeared, a doubt dominates. You hesitate, postpone, back off. This is not bad luck. It's mental self-defense. Your mind is trying to protect you from a threat that it created. And you know what the best part of that is? If you have the power to create these beliefs, you also have the power to reprogram them, to replace doubt with certainty, fear for action, self-sabotage through self-responsibility. And the first step towards this change is awareness. When you begin to observe your thoughts, your patterns, your excuses, with a neutral and courageous gaze, you begin to realize the hidden game that is going on. And when you realize, you take back the power. Because the problem was never a lack of capacity. The problem was letting the invisible enemy act without resistance. And that changes now, the moment you choose to no longer be manipulated by the old voices that said, "You couldn't," that you didn't deserve it, that it was too much for you. Yes, you deserve it. Yes, you can. You are ready to give new meaning to what was once fear. What was once a blockage now turns into fuel. And it doesn't matter if you still don't see the results in the mirror or in your bank account. Transformation begins before, it starts within. It starts when you decide to look at yourself with responsibility and courage. And right now, I want you to look at this idea seriously. Everything you need to change is within you. He's just asleep. And awakening this is what will make you unstoppable. It's curious how these discoveries have such a profound impact. Many people feel guilty when they realize that they were sabotaging themselves, that they spent years avoiding their own growth out of fear of something that wasn't even real. But I want to tell you something now. Don't blame yourself. This realization is a gift. It means you now have consciousness, and whoever is aware has the power to choose. And if you've made it this far in this video, it's because you're ready to choose differently, to act more clearly, to lead your own life with purpose, discipline, and strategy. And yes, this content is for you, not for a group, not for everyone. It's you I'm talking to. It is with you that I am building this conversation, because your journey is unique, and the steps you take from now on will define a new chapter. And if you feel that this moment is yours, that this message makes sense to you, I invite you to leave this on record. Write a word or phrase here in the comments that represents what you are unlocking now. It could be something like, "I have awakened my mind," "Success is safe," "I deserve to win," or simply, "I am bigger than my fears." I will read it, I will enjoy it, because it shows that you are present, active, and committed to your evolution. And if you haven't already, enjoy this video now. This click is a gesture of affirmation. It's as if you're saying to yourself, "Yes, I choose to move on." And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, sign up now. Not just to receive more content like this, but to connect with a community of people who are also on this path. People who, like you, decided to transform mindset into action, and action into results. And best of all, this journey is just beginning. We still have a lot to explore, and you will soon understand how to use this new perception to your advantage. Because now that you see the invisible enemy, it's time to learn how to defeat him from the inside out, every day, without fail. Now that you've begun to recognize the invisible enemy at work inside your mind, it's time to take back control. And when I say control, I'm not talking about a temporary emotional change, nor a spike in motivation that disappears the next day. I'm talking about a conscious, deliberate, and intentional reprogramming of your mind. This is where you begin to consistently build your new path towards success, self-discipline, and personal fulfillment. The first thing you need to do now is create awareness. And when I talk about conscience, I don't just mean understanding that self-sabotage exists. I'm proposing something much more powerful. Observing your own patterns in real time. That's right, catching yourself caught every time you think about giving up, backing down, postponing, or hiding. Take a notebook, or even your cell phone's notepad, and start writing down. Honestly, every moment you feel like stopping. Write down what you were going to do, what you felt, what excuse came up. This simple exercise, which may seem small now, is a game changer because it takes the behavior out of automatic mode. It stops the cycle. When you write down what is happening, you step away from the emotion and take the position of an observer. And at that moment, you begin to regain your power of choice. Napoleon Hill called this self-mastery. Mastering the mind is observing, understanding, and deciding consciously instead of acting on autopilot. Once you develop this awareness, you will apply an extremely effective and transformative technique that Hill strongly advocates: contrarian thinking. The contrary thinking technique works like this. Every time fear appears, you react with action. It doesn't matter the size of the action. What matters is the principle. Fear is overcome with movement. When your mind says, "Wait a little longer," you act. When she says, "You're not ready," you respond with attitude. When she tries to convince you that she's not worth it, you show her, with a practical gesture, that you're in charge. Action kills fear. And that's not a catchphrase. This is neuroscience. Movement changes your emotional state, and over time, it changes who you are. Let's imagine a very common situation. You plan to start a new project or take a step that could bring you closer to a great achievement. At first, there is excitement, but soon after, doubts arise. And then, what happens? You freeze, wait for the right moment, but that moment never comes. Now, using the technique of contrary thinking, at the exact moment doubt appears, you take a contrary action. It could be opening the computer and starting the project, even without being inspired. It could be making an important call, even though you're afraid of rejection. It could be recording a video, sending a message, or even walking for 5 minutes to get out of your mental daze. The key is not accepting the command of fear as definitive. The mind says no, you say yes with your body. Over time, this new pattern strengthens because the brain learns through repetition. With each new attitude, you send a message to yourself: "I am someone who takes action." And suddenly, you become that person. Not because someone told you you could, but because you proved it to yourself through actions. And it is in this process that you build true self-confidence, one that does not depend on praise or immediate results, but it comes from the consistency with which you honor your word, how you get up when you stumble, what you do, even if you don't want to. Another important point in this process is to understand that change does not happen because you completely eliminate fear or doubt. They keep appearing, but now you have a strategy to deal with them. They stop paralyzing you, and they become just signs that you are heading in the right direction. Because fear often appears just when you are about to grow. And if you learn to see fear as a lighthouse, not as a barrier, you begin to approach your goals with much more clarity and determination. I know it may seem challenging at first, because it is, but it's also liberating. Every small action you choose to take, even in the midst of fear, brings you closer to a new identity, the identity of someone who leads their own life, that built with purpose, who decides with confidence, that does not escape the responsibility of growing. This is what differentiates people who become stuck in stagnation from those who become examples of leadership, discipline, and personal achievement. And it all starts with small commitment, fulfilled every day, with the choice to act when it would be easier to retreat, with the decision to no longer negotiate with your mind when it tries to convince you to give up. If you've made it this far, you've already taken a huge step. You are no longer sleeping. You are aware. And now you have tools. You have a choice. You have direction. What you do from here will define the next version of who you are becoming. And that doesn't depend on anyone but you. Your mind is your most powerful tool, but she needs command, and the command is yours. And if everything we talked about here resonated with what you have been experiencing, if you felt that this content was made especially for you, because it was, I want you to share in the comments a phrase that represents this turning point. It could be, "Action kills fear. I choose to act. Conscience is power," or anything else that represents the moment in which you decided to take back control. I'm reading everything you write, and I leave my heart in each comment because I believe in every person who comes by here and decides to do something different. Oh, and of course, if you haven't liked this video yet, now is the time. This helps the channel reach more people like you, people who are ready to break with old patterns and build a new path based on a growth mindset, motivation, and real success strategy. And if you haven't signed up yet, Take the opportunity now to be part of this movement. Here, each video is a concrete step on your journey of transformation. And believe me, the next steps will surprise you, because today's action is setting the stage for a new reality. And this reality begins right now. Everything changes the exact moment you make a firm decision, not an excited decision that lasts a few hours, but a conscious, definitive decision made in the silence of the mind, in the depths of the soul, when you look at yourself with complete sincerity and recognize that you can no longer stay in the same place. There is a moment, and maybe this is your moment now, when you look around and realize that if you keep repeating the same patterns, you will experience the same results. And the most painful thing of all is knowing that time is passing. The days are going away, and you know you could be much further if it weren't for the excuses, the distractions, and the fears disguised as logic. You know that. Deep down, you always knew, and that's why you're here. Because a part of you, perhaps the truest part, is screaming for change. And this change begins when you firmly say, enough is enough. No more postponing your dreams, no more being dominated by procrastination, no more hiding behind justifications that no longer convince even yourself, no more living below your potential. You were born for something greater, and I'm not saying this to please you. I'm saying it because it's true. Napoleon Hill taught that success does not begin with money, nor with contacts, nor with luck. It starts with a thought, a single firm, determined, unshakable thought. A thought that says, nothing shakes me. This phrase, nothing shakes me, is not just a positive statement. It's a choice. It is a declaration of war against the old version of yourself. Taking charge of your story. It's you. Because every true transformation requires a rupture, a break with what is comfortable, predictable, but which keeps you limited. A break with the voice that says, you can't do it. It's not for you. Now is not the time. When you say enough, you break with all of this. And in that breakup, you find strength. Because strength is not the absence of fear. Strength is the ability to act despite fear. It's getting up when it would be easier to surrender. It's saying yes to the unknown because you trust your growth. You don't need anyone's permission to change your life. You just need one decision, a decision that will lead you to act differently from now on. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. What matters is that you are here now, aware, present, and willing to do something different. And that, just that, puts you on a new path, because true leadership starts when you lead yourself, when you become your own model of discipline, of clarity, of purpose. When you decide that you will no longer live reactively, but proactively, you become the cause, not the consequence. Today is your day. The day you decide to stop waiting for motivation and start trusting in action. The day you stop looking for inspiration outside and start generating movement inside. The day you take full responsibility for your evolution, because no one is going to do it for you. And that's okay, because you already have what you need. It's all there, inside you. What was missing was clarity. What was missing was direction. What was missing was for you to look at yourself with honesty and courage and say, I am the owner of my life. When that decision happens, everything else starts to fall into line. The focus returns, the energy changes, opportunities appear. But none of this comes before the decision, because the universe responds to those who position themselves with strength and firmness. Now it's up to you. Will you continue as you are, or will you take control? Are you going to repeat the old excuses, or are you going to say, enough is enough? Are you going to live another day pushing through life? Or are you going to use this day as a springboard to your next level? No one can make this choice for you. But if you choose yes, now, action. Know that you are in excellent company. Here, in this space, we are building a community of people who think big, who live with purpose, who believe in the power of mindset, self-discipline, and personal transformation. People like you, who are tired of surviving and ready to lead your own mind, your own path, your own story. If this message touched you in some way, if you felt that this decision was now being made within you, then record this in the comment. Write a sentence that symbolizes your break with the old version. It could be, "Nothing shakes me, I choose now, no more sabotaging me," or even something of yours, something that represents your personal turning point. I read everything, every comment, and I leave my heart there as an acknowledgement of your process, your step, your courage to continue, even in fear. This space is yours. Use it as a starting point, as a decision anchor, as a witness to your choice. And of course, if you haven't liked this video yet, do so now. This is not just a gesture of support for the channel, it's a sign to yourself that you're committing to your process. And if you haven't signed up yet, sign up now. Here, each piece of content is created with the intention of reminding you every day that your potential is unlimited and that you are not alone on this journey. What comes next could be the most powerful chapter of your life, and it starts with that decision, because the next part is already waiting for you. And now that you have taken this powerful step of saying enough, breaking away from the limited version of yourself and consciously taking ownership of your journey, there is something even deeper waiting for you. And this isn't just about more knowledge. It is no longer a pretty idea or a passing inspiration. What comes next is, in fact, the foundation that will support the entire transformation you want to build. Because it's not enough to just decide. It is necessary to sustain this decision on difficult days, and they will come. You know that. The difference between those who achieve success and those who just dream about it is the ability to remain firm when everything around them seems to want to take you off the path. This is where the next step of our journey comes in, the unshakable mindset. An unshakable mindset is not built overnight. It is forged in daily practice, in the conscious repetition of right choices, even when the emotional impulse wants to pull you towards what is easier. It's about knowing how to stay calm in the face of chaos. It's having clarity amid pressure. It's staying focused when distractions scream around you. And this strength does not arise by chance. It is born from within. It comes from the way you talk to your mind every day, how you direct your thoughts, how you filter what deserves space within you, and what needs to be eliminated. In the next video, I will show you in detail how to build this type of internal strength. And more than that, I will teach you practical strategy to keep your mind protected against any attempt at sabotage, whether from outside or inside. Because, as you've already learned, so far, most of the barriers that stop you are not physical, they are mental. And that's exactly why mastering the mind becomes the biggest differentiator for those who really want to reach the next level. It doesn't matter if you want to grow professionally, improve your financial life, gain discipline, or become a true leader on your own path. It all starts and stays within your mindset. Imagine yourself in the middle of an emotional storm, that phase when everything seems to go wrong. Problems arise from all sides. Emotions run high. The mind starts to sabotage with thoughts like, "You won't make it. This isn't for you. It's better to give up before it hurts more." Now, imagine having within you a defense system so solid that, even in the face of this chaotic scenario, you remain stable. You take a deep breath, reorganize your thoughts, make conscious decisions, and move forward with determination. This is what you will start to develop with the next content. You will understand how to deal with fear without running away from it. You will learn to interrupt cycles of anxiety, doubt, and comparison. You will master mental techniques used by people who not only talk about success, but live success consistently. Because a protected mind is a productive mind, and a productive mind builds results, and you deserve it. You deserve to reap the rewards of your efforts. You deserve to live lightly, with direction, with purpose. And it all starts from within, with conscious mental choices that turn into consistent action. And from that, life begins to respond differently. So, I want to invite you to continue on this journey, to stand firm, to commit to this process that is yours, only yours, because you are the only one responsible for shaping your reality, and no one will do it for you. But here, you have support, a path, Content that was created thinking about you, your evolution, your personal growth, your emotional strengthening. And if you felt that this video brought you clarity, that it awakened something important, share with me in the comments a phrase that represents this new commitment. It can be, I will shield my mind, I own my direction, my mentality is my protection, or anything else that represents what you are taking away from here. I will read, I'll leave my heart there, because this space we are creating goes far beyond content. It is a field of transformation. It's a winning mentality environment. And if you haven't liked this video yet, now is the time. A simple gesture, but one that carries the strength of a decision. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Here, you are building a new pattern of thinking. Here, you are surrounded by practical strategy, content that pulls you forward, ideas that put you in motion. And in the next video, you will discover what an armored mind actually is. Get ready, because what comes next could change not only the way you think, but the way you live. See you there. Stay with me on this journey. The next stage is already beginning.